My sister and I have shared one body for 20 years. She's on the left side, controlling most of our bodily functions. I'm crammed on the right, like a tumor feeding off something beautiful. My sister Yunlei is gorgeous and like a peony in full bloom. But me, starved of nutrients, I've always had the complexion of a corpse. To hide my ugly half, she always wore loose, heavy layers. To everyone else, she was just some weird, hunchbacked woman. That day, we were out gathering herbs at the base of Broken Head Cliff. A wide cloak covered our bizarre, bulky frame from head to toe. From a distance, we looked like a deformed, hunchbacked farm woman. Shikshi, stop moving, someone's coming our way. Her voice dropped to barely a whisper. With a tremble she couldn't quite hide. Help! A faint cry rose from somewhere in the rocks. My sister pushed through the weeds and found an injured man. His robe was torn to shreds, and he lay in a crack between the rocks, covered in blood. His leg was bent at a sickening angle. Sis, not our problem, let's go. I said it cold and flat. But she just stood there, staring at Ningboan, her hand drifting up to her own cheek without thinking. That was the one part of herself she was proud of. Right then, Ningboan forced his eyes open, and saw two heads pressed together under the cloak. I figured he'd scream or call us freaks and monsters, but he just reached out a trembling, blood-soaked hand and grabbed her fingertips. His eyes were full of desperate, broken pleading. Save me, please. My sister's whole body went rigid. In 20 years, it was the first time any man had ever looked at her like that. Against everything in her head, she dragged Ningboan back to our cave. That dark hole had always been our hiding place from the world, but with one extra person, it suddenly felt like a home. My sister went absolutely wild, out in the mountains day and night, hunting for herbs. All just to brew him a bowl of bone-knitting medicine. She ignored every word I said and climbed those thorn-covered cliffs with her bare hands. Her left hand was shredded and bleeding, and since we're connected, I felt every bit of it. I was up all night from the pain, watching her use that faint moonlight to gently wipe the cold sweat off his forehead. Was it worth it? Sixi, you just don't get it. There was a light in her eyes I'd never seen before. It was a poison called hope. He woke up today. He asked my name and said, Lair sounds just like spring flowers. He's just flattering you. He's useless right now. He needs us to survive. I didn't sugarcoat it. Her hand paused, then she let out a small laugh. Even if it's flattery, and I'll take it. Half a month later, Ningboan was on his feet, and he didn't do what I expected. Bolt the second he was healed. Or drop the act and show his real face. Instead, he was too perfect, like a dream someone carefully scripted. He was a scholar, a broke nobleman's son. He'd sit at the cave entrance and play music through a single leaf. He'd tell her about grand wedding processions beyond the mountains, the glory of the capital, and he'd even comb her hair. The scariest part was how he treated me. He didn't ignore me. He didn't flinch. Whenever he looked our way, his gaze would land precisely on her half of our face, soft and warm, and when it drifted to my side, he'd show just the right amount of heartache and courtesy, like I wasn't a monster, just a sick person who deserved compassion. Ningboan sat in the evening sun, a freshly carved wooden hairpin in hand, and gently placed it in my sister's hair. Then he gave me a slight nod. You're looking a little better today. That illusion of being treated like a real person, it didn't just break my sister. Even I started to waver. Could there really be someone in this world who didn't care about looks? Your leg isn't fully healed. Don't sit too long. It's fine. Every moment with you two is worth it. My sister looked down shyly, cheeks flushed red. Ningboan smiled softly, taking her hand. Lair, once my leg heals, let me take you out of these mountains. Leave? She was thrilled and terrified at once. But Zixi and I, the way we are, we'll figure it out. His eyes suddenly went deep. He looked at her, fingertips gently tracing the spot over our hearts, where two hearts beat side by side. My family has a medical text, an ancient method that might be able to cure you both. She nearly jumped out of her skin. Really? You mean Zixi could get better, or that we could actually separate? He didn't answer right away. He just looked at her, with so much going on behind those eyes. Tenderness, conflict, and buried underneath it all, a flicker of something fanatical. Lair, if you could separate, what would you want? I want to marry you, clean and proper. It just came out of her. She immediately buried her face in her chest, mortified. He smiled and pulled her into his arms, and my face was pressed against his chest whether I liked it or not. Listening to his steady, strong heartbeat, he whispered in her ear, I want you to belong to me, completely. Just you! My sister was drowning in happiness. She didn't catch what those words really meant, but I did. That wasn't a lover's heartbeat. That was a hunter's thrill watching prey walk right into the trap. That night, Ningboan offered for the first time to brew medicine for us himself. This balances your chi and blood. Drink it for 49 days straight and your body will be in peak condition. Only then can the treatment be performed. He held out the bowl with that warm, polished smile. I stared at the pitch-black liquid. Then I looked at my sister, glowing with happiness, and the unease inside me spread like weeds. Ningboan had been with us nearly a month. In that time, feeding him had drained our supplies almost dry. Winter was closing in, and Broken Head Cliff had a way of turning deadly without warning. That day, a hailstorm hit out of nowhere. Rainwater flooded into the cave, rising to our ankles. We have to move! Higher ground now! My sister panicked and tried to carry Ningboan on her back, but our body was already heavy and awkward. Add in the mud, and it was impossible. There was no way we were carrying a grown man. Don't worry about me, just go. Ningboan pushed her hand away, pale-faced, slumped against the soaked stone wall. I can barely walk, I'll only slow you down. Lair, take 60 and go. I'm not going, we die together. She was sobbing, both hands locked around his sleeve. I watched their little dramatic scene, completely fed up. Enough. We stay any longer and we all drown. Help him up, move slow. We managed to drag Ningboan out of the cave. Outside was even worse, howling wind, pouring rain, and a mountain path slicker than ice. Just as we hit a narrow stretch of the trail, it happened. The rain had loosened the slope above us, and massive chunks of rock came crashing down with mud. We froze. A jagged boulder was heading straight for my head, the right side of our body. And then a white blur tackled us.